Welcome to this demonstration where we will explore the identification and reconciliation engine, also known as IRE, in ServiceNow, and its significance in integrating Flexera One with ServiceNow. IRE is a powerful engine within ServiceNow that helps manage IT asset data by identifying, matching, and reconciling records from various sources. For the Flexera One ServiceNow integration, IRE ensures that when asset data comes from Flexera One, it accurately maps to the existing records in ServiceNow, eliminating duplicates and resolving discrepancies. This ensures your CMDB is always up to date and accurate. Now let's dive into the Flexera One ServiceNow integration and see how IRE is configured to support this process. Let's begin by looking at the computer data that has been imported from Flexera One. Here in left filter navigator, under Flex, you can click on computers. We can see records representing computer assets coming from Flexera One. These records are automatically populated with enriched data such as manufacturer, serial number, and model information. Let's open up one of these records to inspect the key attributes. As we see here, this computer asset record has been populated with details like model, serial number, and vendor information. All of this data has been enriched by Technopedia content from Flexera One, ensuring accuracy and completeness. This integration plays a key role in ensuring that all asset data is synchronized between Flexera One and ServiceNow, giving you a real-time view of your assets. Let's quickly walk through how ServiceNow identifies a computer CI using the Identification and Reconciliation Engine, or IRE. On the filter navigator, go to CI Class Manager. And select Hierarchy. Here you will find all of the CMDB CI classes in hierarchical order. You can look for a particular class, in our case, computer. And you will find all the information related to computer class, starting with the basic info, the attributes, and here is the identification rule. You can see we have identifiers already in place. There are 5 active identifier entries evaluated in order of priority. These entries define how incoming data is matched to existing CIs. The top rules uses a product instance identifier, a unique ID with the highest priority. Then we have serial number based matching, one using a lookup table, another one is using directly from the hardware table. Lower priority entries include matching by name, and finally a lookup using MAC address and host name via the network adapter table. At the bottom, we see related entries. These don't identify the CI directly, but help reinforce the match using attributes from related tables like software, firmware, backup sources, and more. Together, these rules ensure incoming data from tools like Flexera, SCCM, or Discovery is cleanly matched or inserted without creating duplicates. This is the core of how IRE keeps your CMDB accurate and reliable. We can also create more identifiers from here. For example, here in this case, you can click on Replace, give any name. It can be either independent or dependent. Independent means the rule will only follow this class. However, dependent means it can be dependent on other parent or child classes. So in your new rule, you can have new identifier entries. You will be given choices. Let's use the first one using attributes from main table, which is computer in this case. You can decide the priority, the lower number of priority, that means the higher the rank. And here you can select any of the attributes presented for the computer class in this case. Let's use serial number as an example. Hit save. And here you can see I have added a new identifier at entries. In the new identification rule, with attribute as serial number. That means if one or more sources are ingesting data into the computer class in ServiceNow, and if a record incoming has the same serial number as the existing record, the IRE will let that record update instead of creating a new one. So that's the benefit of using IRE. Now let's take a look at how we can create a reconciliation task to reconcile asset data from Flexera One. Reconciliation ensures that Flexera One data is properly matched and merged with existing asset records in ServiceNow. This process helps clean up data discrepancies and keeps your CMDB in sync with the actual state of your IT assets. I'll open the reconciliation module and show you how to create a new task using Flexera One as a data source. In our example, we can add a new reconciliation rule here by clicking on Add. Here you will be presented with a choice of discovery source. So in this case, we can choose Flexera One and give it a priority. Since it's the only rule we are creating for now, we can give any priority. I'll give it 100. Let's choose attribute as serial number once again. Click Next. If you have any conditions which you want this reconciliation rule to follow, you can provide those conditions as per your requirement. Otherwise, you can save it without any condition. So a new reconciliation rule has been created successfully. So reconciliation rule determine out of the various discovery sources, which discovery source data should be allowed to populate the attribute and in which order. You can create more than one reconciliation rule with different discovery sources as well. And based on the priority, the system will follow through. As part of this, I'll also demonstrate how to configure data refresh rules. These rules govern when and how asset data should be refreshed from Flexera One into ServiceNow. For example, you can define a rule to automatically update software licenses every time new data comes from Flexera One, ensuring that your license counts are always accurate. Let's create a simple refresh rule for the computer class and see how it is linked to the reconciliation task. On the same screen, you can see data refresh rules. You can click Add. You can select a discovery source, Flexera One in our case, and you can set any duration as per your requirement. For example, if we choose 1 day, hit save. So this will essentially update the data from the selected discovery source every day. And remember, if you have more than one data refresh rules, the data will be ingested to ServiceNow, but it will only be added into its target CI classes based on the identification and reconciliation rules. While configuring and using IRE, there are few best practices to ensure smooth and accurate reconciliation of Flexera One data into ServiceNow. First is data cleansing. Before importing data from Flexera One, it's important to cleanse your CMDB. Make sure existing records are up to date to avoid any conflicts during reconciliation. This helps prevent duplicate records and reduces the workload for IRE. Then define clear match rules. As we saw earlier, match rules are critical in identifying and matching data correctly. Ensure that these rules are well defined and tested before you go live to avoid reconciliation issues. Keep an eye on your reconciliation logs to identify any issues early. Reconciliation logs will show you if there are any unmatched records or if any records couldn't be merged. Regular monitoring ensures that your CMDB remains accurate over time. Test in a development environment. Always use your non-prod environment to match rules and reconciliation tasks in a development environment before applying them in production. This helps identify any issues without impacting live data. By following these best practices, you can ensure that your Flexera One ServiceNow integration works smoothly with minimal data discrepancies and accurate asset records. To wrap up today, we have seen how the identification and reconciliation engine helps ensure accurate asset data in ServiceNow when integrated with Flexera One. By defining clear match rules, performing regular data cleansing, and following best practices like regular monitoring and testing, you can ensure a successful integration. Thank you for watching.